Yoga Pod Tucson. We're working together with the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern Arizona. And I'm really excited to share with you this morning a 30-minute yoga practice. It is absolutely for all levels and abilities, so just see how it works for you and your body. I'll offer a couple more intermediate options, but it should feel nice and be a cool opportunity to challenge yourself and stay with your breath through a little bit of a challenge. So before we move, we're gonna come to the mat. I'd love if you started lying down. So come all the way down onto your back, however, keeping your feet planted to the earth, knees bent, and have a block or pillow close by if you would like to tap into that option that I will offer as we begin. So come on down to your back, make sure that your shoulders really come underneath your body, neutral pelvis, happy hips. Generally the spine feels really supported when we bend our knees like this. And just begin to notice how you are breathing. It may feel really nice to send your feet out wider toward the edges of the mat and bring your knees in a little closer. You can turn the toes inward to facilitate that. You might like your arms near your sides or your hands. You can rest one near your heart, one a little lower on the abdomen, and just begin to feel how you are breathing today. Breathing nasally if you can manage that. Noticing how it feels to inhale and exhaling with real intention, seeing how empty you can get every round of breath so you can begin again with fresh air in the lungs. If you're comfortable, you might close the eyes here at the start. Offer you guys a little bit of an exercise where perhaps if there's something that has been bothering you or worrying you just a little bit lately, just bring that to your mind and notice, pay attention to where in your body you respond to that tension that's mental. You might really experience it physically, so just notice. And then spend your next few rounds of breath breathing into those spaces in your body where you're working through something. It's a beautiful thing how even something so simple as 3 deep breaths can just begin to work a little tension out of our body and bring a little more peace potentially into our mind, our mental space. So you're going to stay with your smooth, even, deep breath for the rest of practice. And then let all of the rest of your thoughts, as best as you can, recede to the background of your mind so you can really just stay with you, how you're breathing, how you're feeling, how you're moving. Wonderful. And then from here, separate the knees. Measure with your arms down along your sides so that you can put your fingertips right to your heels with your shoulders back and down. That's the measurement. And you're going to put your feet right there. Hang on to a block or a pillow if you have one close by. And if you do, you'll set it in between your legs. I like this middle distance. And if it's a pillow, you can still squeeze it there in between your thighs. So place your block. And then bring the arms down near the sides to begin. Press the shoulders down. Smooth out the back of the neck by lowering the chin slightly. And then begin really squeezing into the block. Turn your tailbone down and away from you. And then begin to peel yourself up off of the mat, squeezing your glutes, lifting your hips. Not so much that you go into a backward bend, but just enough so that you've got a nice diagonal line sort of from your knees past your hips and it towards the upper body. Now from here, you can keep your arms down, But this is a really nice opportunity while we're beginning to warm up the legs and the glutes with a little action, keeping squeezing the block. It's a nice opportunity to stretch the wrists. So you should be able to move your arms pretty freely. You can press gently down into the wrist, one hand at a time, maybe going the other direction, turning your palm away from you. And we really want to warm up the wrists when we practice yoga, where we'll use our hands for support in general, but especially for a couple of options I'm going to offer today, I'm going to suggest that you really give your wrists a minute here. So while you're doing this, you're still in your low bridge, so we're kind of multitasking. Really try to get thinking that you're engaging your glutes. The glutes are these big, awesome muscles, but sometimes they try not to turn on. So get your glutes on. Really using your mental muscle to turn on your physical muscle. A little more for the wrists, so you can keep stretching with a little static holding. You could also make figure eights or circles with fists, or you could interlace the hands a little bit and draw some figure eights like that. Okay, beautiful. So while we're here, let's keep lifted in the bridge. If you need a little rest, that's fine. Otherwise, we're gonna pulse inward. So squeezing your inner thighs into the block and then releasing a little bit. So pulse, squeezing inner thighs and then release slightly. For this, you can have your arms up overhead, giving you more space in the side body, or you can keep your arms down near the side if that makes you feel more supported. So not so much movement in the hips or in the pelvis, but just squeezing hard against the block and slightly releasing. Just a few more like that. Make sure you're breathing evenly. Use your nose. Last two, squeeze tightly, and one. Really nice. And then from here, see if you can stay lifted. Remove that block. Of course, take a rest and drop your seat if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to do a little bit of a march. So press your left foot down into the mat even more. You may like to have your arms down more for this one. Press down through your left heel and peel your right foot up so you can lift your right knee. Try to keep your hips, pelvis stable, maybe by lowering the hips. And if you like, you can extend that leg out long. Really press down through that left heel. One more big breath. And then bend back into your knee and replace your foot. Maybe even measure if you can touch with your fingertip. And then we'll do the other side. So really turn on your right glute. Press down through that right foot, especially the heel. Use your abdomen a little bit to help you peel that left knee up. So you can start with the foot flexing. Maybe you stay right here. Think about keeping the pelvis really level. Press down so much through that right heel. And if you want, you can extend your left leg. Maybe point the foot. You could float pressing through the ball of the foot, or flex your foot as well for a different sensation. Press through the heel. One more breath. And then release. So bending back into the knee and bringing your foot back down. Beautiful. One more moment right here. So just noticing how it feels to have those glutes really firing without moving your legs. See if you can drag your feet towards your bum and turn on the hamstrings just a little more here at the end. Keep breathing. Breathe into that space that's working. And then gently release, let go. Work your spine down to the mat so you can rest it there. Widen your feet to the width of the mat again, and like windshield wipers, send both of your knees over to your right. And let's keep them over there. Once your legs are pretty settled, maybe you're hanging in space depending on the openness in your hips, squeeze into your left glute, so really turn that on and stretch out through the front of your left hip, a little different sensation. Breathe there. And then mindfully bring yourself back through center with your windshield wiper legs, and then the knees can go the other way. Take your time, both knees to the left. And then once you're set up there, give your right glute a really good squeeze. So the glute is on, you can open up the front of that right hip a little bit, breathe into that sensation. And then take your time letting that go, returning to center. Super nice. From here, let's rock back to rock forward. And if that doesn't feel nice on your spine, you can turn to one side and work your way up to have a seat. Otherwise, you can just rock yourself up to have a seat. Then from here, let's cross the legs, bring the hands in front. If you need to, you'll just swing the legs around. We're gonna come right up into downward facing dog, a little shorter practice. But we've turned on our glutes, turned on our legs. From hands and knees for downward facing dog, you'll tuck your toes underneath. Press your hands down and forward. Relax your head and neck. And send your hips up high. And I really want you to think about the length that you're getting in your spine rather than trying to straighten your legs. So even on purpose, bend your knees and lift your heels. You want your hands at least shoulder distance so your shoulders really have space. And try spinning your arms without moving your hands so that your inner elbows face a little more forward. That'll help to wrap your shoulders, protecting the shoulder girdle. Close your front ribs, so use your abdomen a little more. Really press down through your index finger and thumb. The fingers press down and forward, lift your hips. And then inhale, shift forward to a high plank. If you need to come down onto your knees, you will do that instead. Dome through the upper back and shoulders a little bit. Turn your tailbone down a little bit, smoothing out your lower back. If you are up on the toes, make sure that your legs are strong, engaged. It's kind of like you're lifting up your front side here. And then come back to down dog. So a little bend in the knees and lifting the heels is really nice. Strong arms, pressing your fingers down, close your ribs, maybe move the head neck just for a moment. And then let's shift forward to plank again. So come up on the tippy toes, maybe use your knees, that's fine. Another couple of moments here, building up some energy in the core. And one more time back to down dog from here. Now come up super high onto your tiptoes, and then take the teeniest, tiniest tippy toe steps to work your way up to the front of the mat. Bend your knees as much as you need at any point. And then once your feet more or less reach where the hands are, separate your feet about hip distance. Bend your knees generously on purpose and relax your head, neck, upper body down. So you may need to keep your hands to the mat for support, but if it feels nice, you can hold opposite elbow with opposite hand overhead. From there, you might imagine as you send your hips up high, you actually kind of draw your elbows down toward the mat. Really let your head, neck hang heavy so there's no stress. Shifting a little weight forward on the feet, just kind of playing with that shifting energy. Beautiful. And then from here, bring your hands down, feet come all the way together. And then slowly come up to standing. So if you like, you can round up through the spine, articulating through the vertebrae. And then once you've stood all the way, really find a neutral pelvic position, neutral spine position. Relax your shoulders, ease your face, but use your legs to really stand firmly. Spread your toes wide, use your feet. Awesome, and then from here, inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, let's sit back into a chair, so fierce pose. Draw your tailbone down and back. You can do what you like with the arms, maybe hands just near heart center, or you can stretch the arms out long in front, maybe even spread the fingers. Give yourself another couple of moments. Think about drawing weight back into the heels while you keep the toes down, knees together. Sitting back, sitting deep. One more big inhale. And then exhale, folding forward. So your hands come down to touch the mat. Give yourself a moment in a little forward fold. Nothing too crazy, just send your hips up. You can keep the knees bent, but think about reaching the crown of your head down toward the mat. Lovely. From here, let's step back into plank. And from this plank, we can practice our first couple of vinyasas. So it's really nice to start working from the knees. From either variation of plank, inhale, press yourself away from the mat. Exhale, come forward to come down. Elbows right by your side, so your version of chaturanga. Inhale will be a low cobra or upward facing dog if you're ready for that, with lifting thighs. And then exhale will bring us back to downward facing dog. If you're in upward dog, you might not use the knees. In downward dog, take a really deep breath. Let's practice that vinyasa once more.
So inhale will shift you forward to your version of plank. There's no need to force or push yourself too far. Exhale, come forward to come down your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. So maybe an upward facing dog, you lift the thighs, open your chest. And then exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Really lovely. From here, lift your right leg up behind you for three-legged dog. Exhale, shift weight forward and bring that knee across your body to your left elbow. Inhale, return to three-legged dog. Get lots of length in that lifting leg, square your hips down. Exhale, same thing across your body. Bring your right knee to your left tricep, perhaps. One more time, inhale up and back. Exhale, bring yourself forward, knee to tricep. Now keep that leg lifted, center yourself. One more push. Inhale, press your shin almost all the way down to the mat, but hold it. And then exhale, curl inward, pull that shin up towards your body. Exhale, put your right foot between your hands. Setting up for Crescent Lunge, so you're gonna be on the ball of your back foot. Squeeze your inner thighs toward one another and come up with the upper body if you feel ready. You can rise the arms up overhead here for Crescent Lunge. Try to keep your hips squaring forward by squeezing your inner thighs. Lift up and out of your left hip the entire time. Find your breath here. And then bring your hands down to touch, prayer in front of your heart. We're gonna take a twist to the right, but rather than twisting a whole lot, I'd prefer if you just use your upper body to do the twisting. So maybe you just barely put your left elbow down on the very top of the right thigh rather than going all the way across the thigh and pushing into your arms to twist yourself. So it's an easier twist. Now here's an option. From here, you may shift more weight forward towards your front foot so your back foot gets a little lighter, and flexing that left foot behind you, you might peel that foot away from the mat. Try to keep your spine long. And you can tell how that active twisting action is really helpful. And we're already balancing, so don't take it too seriously. See about it. From here, bring your left leg to meet your right and sit into your chair. So this fierce pose, you can just keep the hands at your heart. Maybe you like the little shoulder push with the arms out long. Staying here. Keep your right knee bent and pick your left leg up a little bit. Flex the foot. And then with a big lunging step toward the back of your mat, you're gonna put that left foot, the ball of the foot down, return to crescent. And then pivot over your left shoulder. So your feet are gonna flip a little bit, so your left foot now faces what once was the back of your mat, and you're in Warrior B. So pivoting into Warrior B. Arms stretch out wide, rooting your right foot down at a 45-degree angle. Trying to have your shoulders be stacked right on top of your hips. Left knee tracking over the left ankle. And then let's straighten the left leg, squeeze the glutes, and do a triangle side bend. So stretching open your left side, bicep near the ear, maybe barely touching right fingers on the right leg. Now the back of the mat is the front of the mat. Apologies if you had to look away from your screen, but hopefully my words will help enough. So come out of that triangle side bend, back into Warrior B. Now, shift weight towards your left foot, making your right foot lighter behind you, and come into balancing half moon. So shift your weight onto your left leg. You can keep that leg bent. Lift your right leg behind you, really long and strong. Flex the foot. Work on stacking the hips and shoulders. Maybe you do end up lifting your right arm. Just working on that balance. You can keep your right hand on your right hip. To release this, you're gonna start to square your right hip down toward the mat. So begin squaring your upper body and your hips down toward the mat. So now you can bring both hands down to touch a little bit. Let's see if without touching the right foot down, we can sweep it down just past the left foot. And then squeeze that left leg really strong. See, I didn't even manage that time, and come up to standing. And now you've got your right knee lifted up in front of you, standing on one leg. Let's bring the arms out wide to the side. And a little bit like a helicopter, I'd like you to spin and twist to the left. So kind of the opposite way that we often twist in yoga. Find a place to look for your balance, and don't judge yourself if you're wobbling a lot. You're just like me today. Undo your spin, come back to face what once was the back of your mat, and we'll find eagle, so cross your right leg over your left leg. You can use your toes like a kickstand, or you can wrap your legs 2 times. Wrap your right arm under your left arm, and you might just hug your shoulders, or you could wrap twice, sinking into your eagle. Think about finding your breath, finding your balance, finding your squeeze in the limbs. Lean your upper body back slightly. And then undo your eagle. Be really mindful and gentle as you bend into your left knee after you've unwound that right leg, and stretch it to take a big lunging step and land in crescent lunge at the back of your mat. Rather than crescent, let's make this a warrior A. So root your back foot down by spinning that right heel down 45 degrees. Take a little inhale, a slight upper back bend. And then an exhale will bring you down and forward, humble. So it's a little bit of a lunge forward, a lean forward with your warrior legs. If you need to release the hands for a little support, you may. Otherwise, that eagle arms you can keep, might still feel really good, or a shoulder hug. Give yourself another couple of moments, relax your neck. And then keep your legs strong and stable. Press yourself back up. Let's unwind the arms and find crescent simply by coming onto the ball of the back foot. And then to finish this side, bring your right hand down inside of that left foot and twist this lunge position a little bit. So the left arm lifts. Keep your right leg behind you really strong. Find some length, space in your spine. And then bring your left hand down to frame that left foot. Step back plank. An opportunity for a vinyasa. So here you can inhale, press away from the mat. Maybe knees down. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog with lifting thighs or low cobra. And then exhale, return your way to your downward facing dog. So we're still facing the back of the mat for now, but we're going to turn ourselves around in just a moment. One more big deep breath. Think about smoothing out your spine, closing your front ribs. From here, lift your left leg up and back. Three-legged dog, and exhale, shift weight forward, shoulders over wrists, but bring that left knee to your right elbow. Inhale, stretch and extend your left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, same thing, knee to perhaps tricep a little higher. Use your inhale, lift, lengthen left leg, press the mat away with your hands. Exhale, one more time, come across your body, find that squeeze. Keep your leg lifted, center yourself facing the mat. Inhale, drop your shin almost all the way down. Exhale, squeeze it back in close to you, and then softly place your left foot down at the front of the mat. Crescent lunge. Ball of the back foot, squeeze your inner thighs toward one another, and begin to rise. When you feel stable, lift up and out of your right hip, especially if you have really open hips. Your arms can come up high here. Give yourself a moment to kind of just marinate. If you want to, you can even micro bend your back knee and turn your tailbone down a little more. Try to keep your ribs closed. Find your breath. Bring your hands down to prayer heart center. We'll twist left. So just a gentle twist. No need to overdo. So using your upper body to begin to show your chest to the left. Maybe you do connect just the very top of your left thigh to that right elbow. Keep your spine long. If you like the balance challenge, you'll shift weight forward towards your left foot. So your right foot gets lighter behind you. And you might flex that right foot. The flex helps with stability and get a little bit of a twisty balance happening. Just see how it goes. Remember to breathe. When you're ready, bring your right foot to meet the left at the front of the mat, the back of your mat. It's all the same. And that's your fierce pose. So you're sitting in a chair. It really doesn't matter what your arms are doing. Turn your tailbone down. Lean your upper body back slightly. Breathe. Stay down here. Knees bent. Lift your right leg. So your left knee stays bent. Super slow motion, step your right foot back so the ball of the foot lowers, so you're in crescent for a moment. Then we're gonna pivot over the right shoulder to come back to face the original way that we faced on the mat. So now your right knee bends, warrior B. Extend your arms. Pull your low belly in and up so your tailbone can stretch down behind you. Try to have your shoulders really on top of your hips. We tend to want to kind of reach, lean forward. One more breath, warrior B. And then straighten your right leg, squeeze your glutes. Triangle side bend. So we're bending to the side, that's why we squeeze the glutes. Maybe barely touch your left fingers down behind you. Engage both legs. And then come out of that, come back to warrior B. So bend into your right knee, try to align the knee over the ankle. And then we're gonna find balancing half moon by shifting more weight forward toward that right foot. So the left leg may come up a little behind us and get lighter. And your right fingertips will be a good guide down on the mat. You can also bring a block with you. I did not manage to bring mine along. Big flex in your left foot for stability. Trying to have your spine be long. Showing your chest to the left, so stacking shoulders, stacking hips, that's the practice. You can keep your standing leg bent, but engage it a lot. And then to take this apart, begin by squaring your hips down to face the mat. So eventually your torso and your hips will be square, so you can put both hands down, fingertips even. And then without touching your left foot to the mat at all if possible, sweep your legs straight down past your right leg, and then squeeze into your right leg a whole bunch. Come up to standing, bend your left knee up, hip height. Flex that foot, stand strong on your right leg. Reconnect with your breath. Arms out wide, little helicopter spin, this time to the right. So we often twist into ourselves, across ourselves. It's pretty fun to do it the other way. Find a good spot to focus on, smooth out your breathing, and undo your spin. We're gonna move into eagle. So now that lifted left leg is gonna wrap around the right thigh. Maybe you just cross your thighs, use your toes like a kickstand, or you could wrap your foot around for that double wrap for eagle. Left arm under right, hug your shoulders, or wrap twice and touch your palms together, thumbs face your face. Try to draw your shoulders down a little bit. Squeeze into your limbs. Again, one good spot to focus on, draw your shoulders back. Let's undo this twist. So mindfully release your left leg, unwind it. Hands can stay bound. Bend into your right knee, big lunging step back toward the back of the mat. Let's go ahead and rotate that left foot down 45 degrees so that your entire foot can be down on the mat. Inhale, arms up. Oh. Inhale, tiny back bend. I'm getting ahead of myself. Exhale, humble. This is too nice to skip. So as you humble, as you come forward, you can release your hands if they're bound, if you want a little more of a reach sensation or if you need more support. But you're more than welcome to keep hugging your shoulders or keep your eagle arms bound. Relax your neck. Try as best as you can to keep your upper body away from your thigh. Trust the strength of your legs. And then press into your feet, bring yourself back up. Now, inhale, unwind the arms. Come onto the ball of the back foot, crescent lunge, squeeze your glutes. And then left hand comes down. So we'll twist this little lunge position. Left palm down inside of the right foot, lift your right arm up high. Think about stacking shoulders. Really engage your back leg, so lift up the back of the knee toward the sky. Long spine, breathe. And then bring your right hand down, frame the front foot, step back plank. It's optional, you can go right to down dog or take a child's pose to rest, but there's one more vinyasa available. Inhale, press away from the mat. Exhale, come forward to come down your chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra or upward facing dog. Open your chest. And then exhale, in downward facing dog we meet. Relax your head, your neck, bend your knees, close your front ribs. Smooth out your spine. One more big breath in. And slow breath out. And then bend your knees forward so you come down onto hands and knees, releasing that downward facing dog. This little flow that I've decided to share with you helps prepare for this pose called Lolasana. And it's a very simple looking pose, but it's actually really quite challenging. So I'm going to demonstrate to the best of my ability what it looks like just for a moment. And then at the very least, I'm going to leave you with an exercise that you could work on to help you prepare to practice it in the future if you desire. If you did not warm up your wrists or stretch them out, I really suggest that you do that right now. You can pause the video and do that. If you have wrist injuries, maybe skip this part. It's just one pose, so you're really not missing much at all. How Lolasana works is you're going to kneel, knees together, feet together, sitting back towards your heels. You're going to place your palms down on the outer sides of your thighs, about the middle of your thighs. The idea is you're going to press your hands down. You're going to lean a little forward, protract your shoulders, and really try to compress your body so that your legs lift away from the mat while your back lifts away from the mat, so that you may be able to hover while you press down through your hands. I'll do that at one more angle if I can manage. The breathing works like you prepare with the inhale, and then you push with the exhale. And then you release. So, the pose looks really simple, but it's actually very challenging, deceptively. So here's a great preparation, even if it's the first time you've ever attempted it. It's called a Lolasana Push-Up. So from that same starting position, kneeling, knees together, feet together, sitting back on your heels, hands down outside of the thighs, you will keep the tops of your feet down, and you will lift your knees, lift your upper back, and lift your seat away from the mat. So you prepare with the inhale, and then exhale. Keep the feet down, but lift your knees. Squeeze your lower and upper body into one another and protract your shoulders. Press the mat away evenly with the hands. Bring yourself down when you're finished. Give yourself a minute. If you want a little more love for the wrists, that's a really good time. Now you'll kind of have a sense of what it'll feel like. And I invite you to do a couple more of these push-ups at the very least with me. So prepare with an inhale. And then exhale, tops of the feet down, lift your knees, maybe lift the upper back more, lift your hips. And then if you feel like you are prepared to try one foot lifting at a time, what that will add, I'm gonna keep my left foot down first, inhale. And then exhale, keep the left foot down, but you can practice squeezing the right heel into the glute, which is another integral part of this all coming together. So then you give yourself a breath, and then you can try with the right foot down. Inhale, prepare. And then exhale, push down with the hands. Shoulders come forward. Keep the right foot down. Squeeze the left heel into your glute. Release when you're ready. So you can do those push-ups. You can practice kind of the one side at a time. If you do feel ready, then I do invite you to give yourself a good inhale to prepare. And then exhale, push down with your hands. Squeeze everything in. And just see about lifting away from the mat for your Lolasana. No need to get discouraged, it's just a fun thing to try. Be gentle with your wrists, give them some love, especially afterward, a little massage. You can also work with 2 blocks. If you want to provide a little more height for yourself, you can put a block on either side of your thighs. I don't have 2 blocks to demonstrate, but you'll give yourself a little more room to practice pushing away from the mat with the rest of your body. We're going to wrap this up. So swing your legs around whichever way you're facing, it doesn't really matter. Swing your legs around in front of you and then come onto your back again, kind of how we started. Release your way down to the mat comfortably, maybe nice and slowly. Shoulders underneath your body. This time let's bring the soles of the feet together and open the knees out wide. So a sensation for the hips. If this feels like a lot for you, you can even kind of support yourself under your outer thighs with your hands. Lower your chin if it's lifting a lot. It is so okay to have a double chin in yoga. It smooths out the neck. If you're looking for a little more sweat, maybe you just stay here for a little while. and you rewind and go through that flow that we practiced together one more time. Maybe practice Lolasana once more. Or from here you could go right into an extended Shavasana. So maybe you keep these bound angle legs, or you want to extend your legs out long in front of you and really just be in corpse pose. It's entirely up to you. On behalf of Yoga Pod Tucson, Ronald McDonald House, and myself, Kerry, thank you so much for joining. If you want more information on Yoga Pod Tucson or the Ronald McDonald House charities, you can check out links that we will place in the description box below this video. Thanks for being here. Take care. Have a beautiful rest of your day.